I told myself I was just his gallery owner. I told myself I was being professional. But standing in that studio, smelling the oil paint and the heat of him, I realized I was lying. My assistant called it a scandal. I called it a reason to breathe again. We were about to break every rule I spent 25 years building. Tuesday came. I'd prepared myself. Dressed in my armor, tailored black suit, hair pulled back severely, every inch the gallery owner. Professional distance. That's what I needed. Then Daniel walked in, carrying a canvas, and I felt it again. That pull, that awareness, like gravity had shifted slightly in his direction. He was wearing dark jeans and a black Henley that clung to his chest and arms, hair still too long, curling at his collar. Those hands wrapped around the canvas frame. "Morning," he said, smiling. That smile. "Good morning. Let's see what you've brought." We spent the next hour discussing placement, lighting, pricing. I focused on being professional, knowledgeable, in control. But I was also acutely aware of him. The way he moved through the space with unconscious grace. The way his voice got deeper, more passionate when he talked about his work. The way his hands gestured when he explained something. The way he looked at the paintings, then at me, like he was checking if I understood. Like my opinion mattered more than anyone's. At one point, I needed to check sightlines from a higher angle. I climbed a ladder to get perspective. "Careful," he said, coming over to steady it. His hand gripped the rail near my calf. I looked down. He looked up. For 3 seconds, we just held each other's gaze. His hand was inches from my leg. I could almost feel the heat of it through my pants. My breath caught. Something in his eyes darkened. Awareness. He felt it too. Whatever this was between us, he felt it. I descended slowly, carefully. At the bottom, I had to brush past him in the narrow space between the ladder and the wall. His hand moved to my waist, ostensibly to steady me, completely unnecessary. His palm was warm through my blouse, firm. Just for 2 seconds, then gone. But I felt the imprint of it. Felt the heat spread from where he'd touched me. "Thank you," I managed. My voice sounded strange. "Anytime." His voice was lower than before. We finished the installation in near silence, the air thick with something unspoken. When he left, I leaned against the desk, eyes closed, heart pounding. Emma walked in, stopped. "You okay? You look flushed." "I'm fine." "Uh-huh," she studied me. "He's gorgeous." "He's an artist I'm representing. It's completely inappropriate." "Okay, but you're breathing like you just ran a marathon." "Emma, I'm just saying, you're allowed to be attracted to people. You're allowed to feel things." "I'm not attracted to him." The lie was so obvious, even I didn't believe it. Emma smiled. "Right. Well, whatever you're not feeling, you might want to splash some cold water on your face. You're very not feeling it all over your face right now." After she left, I went to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror. Flushed cheeks, bright eyes, lips slightly parted like I'd been running. I looked alive, awake, turned on. "Get it together, Catherine," I told my reflection. But my body wasn't listening. My body was remembering the warmth of his hand on my waist, the way he'd looked at me, the pull between us, and wanting more. The opening was Friday night. I'd spent 3 days trying not to think about Daniel Pierce. Failed spectacularly. The gallery was packed for the opening. Collectors, critics, other artists, the usual crowd. I worked the room in a black dress I'd chosen with more care than usual. It was elegant, expensive, but there was a deep V in the back that showed skin. The fabric clung in ways that suggested without revealing. I knew I looked good. I could feel eyes on me. 3 men had already suggested drinks after. I was in control, confident. This was my domain. But I kept glancing at the door. Daniel arrived 20 minutes late. I saw him immediately, even though there were 60 people in the room. He was uncomfortable in dress clothes. Dark pants, white button-down, clearly borrowed or rarely worn. But the shirt stretched across his shoulders in a way that made my mouth go dry. He'd rolled the sleeves to his elbows. strong forearms, those beautiful paint-stained hands. He looked around the crowded space, clearly overwhelmed. Then his eyes found me across the room. Everything else faded. Just for a second, just long enough for me to feel it like a physical touch. Then someone grabbed his attention, a young woman in a red dress, all curves and enthusiasm. She monopolized him immediately, touching his arm, leaning in close, laughing too loud. I turned away, forced myself to focus on the collector I was talking to. Some hedge fund manager droning about market trends. But I was aware of Daniel across the room. Hyper-aware. When the woman in red touched his arm again, I felt something dark curl in my stomach. Not jealousy. I wasn't jealous. Except I absolutely was. When had I last felt jealous? Not about Michael. Not about anyone in years. But watching her touch him, watching him smile politely, watching her lean in, my jaw clenched. My fingers tightened on my champagne glass. This was ridiculous. He wasn't mine. He could talk to whoever he wanted. He probably should talk to her. She was young, beautiful, age-appropriate, exactly what someone should want. Except his eyes kept finding mine across the room. Every few minutes, our gazes would meet. Hold. A silent conversation neither of us could interpret. Each time it happened, I felt it low in my belly. Want. Recognition. Something. The collector finally left. I was getting another drink when I felt someone behind me. Congratulations. I didn't turn. Somehow I knew it was him. Could feel him. Your work is the hit of the show. How did you know it was me? I turned. He was very close. Champagne in hand, those dark eyes fixed on me. I could feel you. The admission slipped out. Too honest. His eyes darkened. Could you? Don't. Don't what? Don't look at me like that. Like what? Like you're doing right now. My voice was barely above a whisper. His voice dropped lower. How am I looking at you? Like you want to devour me. Like you're imagining what I look like under this dress. Like you're thinking the same things I'm thinking. We should discuss your next steps, I said instead, desperate to redirect. Studio size, production schedule, the follow-up show. Okay. But neither of us moved. Kate! Someone called my name. A collector. Saved by interruption. We separated. Spent the rest of the night orbiting each other like binary stars. Never speaking again. Just watching. When a man put his hand on my lower back, too familiar, too presumptuous, I saw Daniel's jaw tighten from across the room. When the woman in red touched Daniel's arm for the 10th time, I excused myself to the bathroom and gripped the sink, breathing hard, telling myself to get it together. This was insane. I was acting like a teenager, like someone with no control. End of the night. Gallery emptying. The staff cleaning up. I was in my office reviewing sales figures when he knocked. Come in. He entered, closed the door behind him. We were alone for the first time since the studio. I wanted to thank you again, before I left. The work sold itself. Because you believed in it, because you saw it. He stepped closer. I keep thinking about what you said, about feeling me, when I walked up behind you. I shouldn't have said that. Why not? Because it's not professional. Kate, the way he said my name, low, almost reverent. I can't stop thinking about you. The words landed like a caress. My breath caught. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. I know what I want. This can't happen. Why not? Because I'm your gallery owner. Because everyone will think... I stopped myself. Will think what? His voice was gentle now. That I'm desperate? That I couldn't get someone appropriate, so I settled? He moved closer. We were 3 feet apart. I could feel the heat of him. Kate, I've watched men circle you all night. Successful, appropriate men. You could have any of them. We both know that. Then why? Because they don't see you. Not really. They see Catherine Winters, gallery owner, successful woman, good investment. But I see you. The way you look at art. The way your whole face changes when something moves you. The way you tilt your head when you're really listening. I see you. I closed my eyes. This was too much, too honest, too dangerous. You need to leave. I know, but he didn't move. Daniel, I'm going, but I needed you to know. This isn't going away. How I feel about you, it's not going away. He left. I stood in my empty office shaking, went home, took a long bath, poured wine, tried not to think about dark eyes and paint-stained hands and the way he'd said, I see you. Failed completely. That night I couldn't sleep, my body still humming with awareness, with want. I'd never felt anything like this before, the intensity of it, the way it consumed my thoughts. I lay in the dark staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of what I was feeling. At 2 a.m. my phone buzzed, text from an unknown number. I know I shouldn't text you this late. I know I should leave you alone. I can't. I'm sorry. I tried. Daniel. My heart stopped. I stared at the screen. Should delete it. Should block the number. Should shut this down. I typed, how did you get my number? 3 dots. Then, Emma gave it to me. I told her I had a question about the show. I lied. I just wanted to be able to talk to you. I should end this, right now. Type, what did you want to talk about? Dots. Then, honestly, nothing. I just wanted an excuse to say your name, to see your name on my screen. Despite everything, I smiled. Type, it's late. You should get some sleep. Should I? Yes. Will you? Pause. Honesty. No. Why not? I stared at the question. He knew why. Type, you know why. Tell me anyway. Because I can't stop thinking about you either. Send before I could stop myself. His response, immediate. This is dangerous. I know. We shouldn't be doing this. I know. But I don't want to stop. Neither did I. Type, we need to be careful. I know. But Kate? Yeah? I meant what I said tonight. I see you. And I'm not going anywhere. I stared at the screen. Type, good night, Daniel. Good night, Kate. Sweet dreams. I turned off the phone, lay in the dark, my heart racing. This was happening. Whatever this was, it was happening. And I was terrified and exhilarated and more alive than I'd felt in years. The next few weeks were a blur of escalating tension. He started showing up at the gallery, always with an excuse, needing to discuss his next series, wanting advice on studio space, questions about pricing. But we both knew these weren't professional visits. They were something else. We'd sit in my office, door open, discussing art, but the subtext was everything. The way he'd lean forward when I spoke, the way I'd catch myself watching his hands, the way our eyes would hold just a beat too long. One morning he brought coffee. Figured you could use one. You're always here early. We talked for an hour, about his work, about mine, about why we do this, why art matters. The conversation flowed like water, easy and natural. We laughed. I found myself relaxing in ways I didn't usually, being honest in ways I wasn't with most people. When he left, Emma appeared in my doorway. You know you were smiling the whole time, right? Was I? You lit up. I've never seen you like that with anyone. Don't. Don't what? Don't make this into something it's not. Kate, I'm not making it into anything. It already is something. The question is what you're going to do about it. I didn't have an answer. He invited me to other gallery openings, group shows where his work was featured. Come, he'd say. I want to know what you think. I went. Told myself it was professional networking, but I knew better. At one opening, small gallery in Chelsea, crowded, we stood in front of a painting discussing its merits. The room was packed. People kept jostling us. Each time we'd be pushed closer together, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip. Neither of us moved away when there was room. His arm brushed mine. I felt it like electricity. Later, heading for the exit, navigating the crowd, his hand landed on my lower back, guiding me through. Just light pressure, but it stayed there, longer than necessary, his palm warm through my dress. I didn't pull away. Outside, cool night air, we stood on the sidewalk. "Thank you for coming," he said. "Of course, the work was interesting." "Walk with me?" I should say no. "Where?" "Nowhere. Everywhere. Just walk." We walked. 10 blocks, talking about everything and nothing. He told me about growing up in Ohio, his father who worked in a factory and painted in his garage on weekends, how his father had died when Daniel was 19, how painting became his way of processing grief. I told him about building the gallery from nothing, about the years of struggling, about proving myself in a world that didn't take young women seriously. "And now?" he asked. "Now they take you seriously. Now I'm watching everything I built slip away." I hadn't meant to say it. The honesty surprised me. He stopped walking. "What do you mean?" I told him about the cash flow problems, the loans coming due, the slow death of the gallery I'd built over 25 years. He listened, really listened, didn't try to fix it or offer solutions, just heard me. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "That must be terrifying." "It is." "What will you do?" "I have an offer from the Met, a partnership. It would save everything." But I'd be subordinate, taking orders, after 25 years of running my own operation. "Will you take it?" "I don't know. I have to decide in 5 weeks." We started walking again. "Can I tell you something?" he asked. "Of course." "When I'm around you, I forget to be nervous. I forget that you're Catherine Winters. I forget that I'm supposed to be professional. You just become Kate. And Kate is the most fascinating person I've ever met." I stopped walking, looked at him. "Daniel, you can't say things like that." "Why not?" "Because it makes this harder." "Makes what harder?" "This, whatever this is. We can't—" "I know all the reasons we can't, but knowing doesn't change how I feel." We stood there, middle of a sidewalk in Chelsea, people flowing around us. "I should get home," I said. "I'll get you a car." "I can get my own car." "I know you can. Let me anyway." He got his phone out, called a car. We waited in silence. When it arrived, he opened the door for me. I paused before getting in, looked up at him. "This is dangerous." "I know." "We need to be careful." "I know." "I'm not sure I trust myself around you." The confession slipped out. His eyes darkened. "That makes 2 of us." I got in the car before I could do something stupid, like kiss him, like pull him into the car with me, like stop pretending I didn't want him desperately. That night, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, really looking at myself. My body at 59. Gray hair I don't dye. Lines around my eyes. My neck not as firm as it once was. Breasts that have fed 2 children that show their age. Stomach with stretch marks. Hips wider than they used to be. Thighs strong but soft. I am 59 years old. My body shows it. And I've always been okay with that. But looking at myself now, I felt something different. Not shame, but awareness. What would he see when he saw me like this? Would he be disappointed? Would the fantasy not match the reality? I traced the lines on my face, the silver in my hair, the softness of my stomach. Then I thought about the way he looked at me, like I was art worth studying. And maybe this body that shows I've lived, that tells the story of 59 years, maybe that's beautiful too. I went to bed. Couldn't sleep. My body humming with awareness, with want, with something I'd thought was behind me. One evening, small dinner with other gallerists and artists, a group of 8 at an Italian restaurant in Soho. I was seated across from Daniel. Throughout dinner, our feet found each other under the table. His ankle hooked mine. Just that contact, through pants, through shoes, completely innocent, made me lose my train of thought mid-sentence. Someone asked me a question. I had no idea what they'd said. Daniel's eyes locked on mine, dark with awareness. He knew exactly what he was doing. Later, reaching for bread at the same time, our hands brushed. He let his fingers trail across my knuckles. So light, so brief, so deliberate. I pulled my hand back like I'd been burned. After dinner, outside while everyone said goodbye, we ended up standing slightly apart from the group. "This is torture," he said quietly. "I know. I can't stop thinking about you. Everything I paint is just paintings of wanting you. My entire studio is an exercise in frustration." "Daniel, I know we need to be careful, but I'm running out of ways to be around you and not touch you." People started dispersing, calling cars. Daniel's came first. He looked at me. "Come with me." "I can't. Kate, I have my own car coming. I don't mean home. I mean, just drive with me. 15 minutes. That's all. We'll talk. In public. In a car. 15 minutes. I should say no. And everything I'd been trying to control was about to come undone. Because in 2 days, we were having dinner with other artists. In public. Where I'd have to sit across from him and pretend I didn't want him desperately. But tonight we were getting in a car together, and I had no idea what would happen next. The lines are blurring. If you've ever risked everything for a feeling, hit subscribe. The rainstorm is coming in the next chapter. You don't want to miss it.